Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 148, and I gotta say, I like the opening, okay? I'm just gonna dive right into it. So I like the opening. I like how it's giving the anime viewers a reminder that the karma seal that Boruto has is very important, and I like how they're having Boruto finally remember his conversation with Momoshiki, because it's been a while since that's happened. So I thought that was nice that we actually saw that moment right there, and how Boruto's thinking about the fact that all of a sudden he's recalling this. I'm not gonna spoil the ending of the arc. I'm just gonna tell you guys that the karma seal, for those of you who are anime only, the karma seal is gonna have a really big role to play at the end of this arc. So I thought that was nice that they're already setting a little bit of foreshadowing up right there. Now, as far as like the little small changes that they made with the intro, I thought that was nice that they showed Boruto fighting against Shojoji, and I've got a little bit higher expectations for the anime version of that fight. For those of you who read the manga, you know that the manga version of that fight is pretty quick, but one thing that they make very adamantly clear about Shojoji is the fact that even though he's really big in size, he's very quick and he's very swift when he fights. So he's actually a good matchup for Boruto. He has a lot of broad sweeping movements, but he's very quick. So I like how the anime was just showing you a glimpse of that. So I thought that was cool to actually see that. Now, what I will say is that the opening part, I've seen some people saying that this is filler. That's not filler. So this part where you have Boruto and Sarada and Mitsuki, and they're going and they're collecting the lower members of the Majina Bandits, that's not filler. That's actually in the manga. Now, one thing the anime did that I'm actually okay with is the fact that they toned down what Sarada did in the manga version opposed to anime. So in the manga version, when they're hunting down these bandits on this mission, one of the things that you actually see with Sarada is that she goes from trying to attack the bandits to trying to distract them by flirting with them and trying to charm them. And in the anime, it's not necessarily the case. Sarada, she's using restraint. She talks in a little soft voice for a second, but isn't flirtatious, and she isn't directly talking to the bandit that she's fighting against. So I thought that was cool that they kind of toned that down. One thing that Ikkyu Madoka has gotten some blowback for is the fact that Sarada in the manga is not on some Lucy Heartfilia type shit, but Sarada in the manga is a lot more sexualized than she is in the anime. She's wearing heels, she's got lipstick, lip gloss, all that stuff. Like, she's, you know, swishing her hips and everything. It's little small things like that where people are like, oh my god, Sarada's 13. I don't want to see that. So it's one of those things where the anime kind of toned that down. I'm not really upset at that. I'm usually a manga purist, but I didn't mind this small change here. I could give a fuck whether or not she's swishing her hips and batting her eyes and everything. I just personally felt like it was out of character for Sarada. That's why I didn't like it. I didn't care about the sexualized part. So I thought that was cool to actually see that. And I like how Sarada, we see a brief body flicker. Hers isn't really quick, but I like how we saw that brief body flicker where she was moving so quick that the dude couldn't keep up with her. So I thought that was nice. I thought the inclusion of the poison in the dagger was nice. I don't remember that from the manga. So I like how we're getting little small things fleshed out in the interactions here. Now, what I will say that I did like here was the fact that when it comes to Tento and Boruto, they're already doing a good job of just setting up the fact that Tento and Boruto, they're not going to get along. And what's so crazy about that is, like, the anime added in a few extra scenes of this dude just flexing. Like this is what I like about the episode, right? Like, I didn't particularly care about Tento in the manga, but I said, yo, if the anime has a chance to make him look like an utter dick, they need to take it. My man said, oh, you don't want to give me that ninja card or the 7th Hokage? That's cool. I'm just gonna buy everything in the shop. Like, that's just so fucking hot. My dude just pulled out the credit card and said, cha-ching, got everything. Then my dude went to the dumpling shop and bought all the fucking dumplings. Then when Awabe goes to Thunder Burger, it's like, oh, okay, hey, I didn't just buy all the burgers. Nah, fam, I bought the whole damn store. That is a dick move. I love that. I love it. That's like such a huge flex. I love that Tento pulls some shit like that, man. Like, that's the type of shit I wanted to see, because what you're seeing is that there's a dynamic difference between Tento and Boruto. Like, Boruto used to be a spoiled brat, but in this instance right here, Boruto's having to essentially go on a mission with someone who, for all intents and purposes, they're the same. They're both the high profile sons of an important person in the Land of Fire. So Tento is the son of the Feudal Lord. Boruto's the son of the Hokage. Boruto's a ninja, he can take care of himself. But if Boruto went down the path of Himawari and he didn't become a ninja, didn't have that level of skill and training, then that'd be one of those things where Boruto, I'm not gonna say he behave like Tento, but he will require a bodyguard much in the same way that Tento requires one. Because if somebody kidnaps the son of a Feudal Lord or the son of a Hokage, their enemies will come after them. So I mean, I like this little small difference that they're setting up there. And I also thought it was interesting that Naruto is in full awareness of Shojoji's jutsu and how everything works. That wasn't something that was in the manga. Again, I'm not going to nitpick over that because it fits in with the Hozuki Castle portion of this arc. So I'm okay with, again, that little small change when it comes to anime. I think by now everybody should know and should fully accept the fact that when the anime gets the manga arcs, they're gonna flesh things out. Things aren't gonna be word for word, page for page, storyboard to panel exactly how it is in the manga. They're gonna add some stuff because of, and again, I criticize this in my manga chapter reviews, because of the lack of detail in the manga and because of how you don't have the best management when it comes to storyboarding in the manga. So I thought that, you know, the anime added a few small things. Mostly this was accurate, but they added some scenes in here to make things better. Even when you get to the opening sequence with Boruto and Mitsuki and Sarada chasing down those bandits, the way that it was drawn in the manga, Boruto's body motion was very awkward. In this instance, it's a lot more fluid. There's a lot more follow through. The position, everything is a lot better. You see the small changes that they made, and I'm okay with that. I also like the fact that Sai started to correct the Feudal Lord and he remembered his place, because Sai started to say, hey, are you sure that this is a good idea? And I think Sai was looking more from a parent, but again, the guy understands, like, he's done with a Feudal Lord, he can't necessarily talk his mind. So we're starting to see here the dynamic shift. But what I will kind of point my attention to, or excuse me, what I will point your attention to, is the fact that the Feudal Lord now has to come to Naruto. So you do see a little bit of a shift occurring, because the Hidden Leaf Village was not always the capital of the Land of Fire. Typically, when somebody had to go visit the Feudal Lord didn't come to them. They came to the Feudal Lord. So I like that we are seeing that change right there. So I thought that that was cool, and I like the fact that they did use the Thunder Train. That's one of those things that now things are a lot safer than they were to begin with. So I thought that that was interesting. I also thought it was interesting how the episode decided to end off where you have that moment where the bandits are looking over everything. I believe they're standing on the Hokage monument or just past it, and they're looking out the village and they're keeping tabs on everything, and they're saying, okay, so the Hokage's meeting with the Feudal Lord is going as scheduled. So those of you who read the manga, you know what's about to happen, you know why this is so big. So I thought that that was cool to kind of get that right there. And what I like here is that they are setting up one of the themes that I took away from the arc, which is the fact that Boruto, at the end of the versus Momoshiki arc in the manga, Boruto's talking all this stuff like, hey, I want to be a ninja like Sasuke, I want to be a ninja that helps people from the shadows. But in order for him to get to that point, he's still got to go through the D rank missions that Genin usually get. He's still got to prove himself as being worthy of going on C rank missions that are typically reserved for low level tuning. And so I like the fact that, you know, Boruto, he was on the C rank mission, now he was proving himself. Now he's having to guard a high profile VIP, the son of a Feudal Lord. So this is a nicely ranked mission right here. So I like the fact that you are seeing that. But what I will say is that for Boruto, he has to do what Itachi Uchiha stated in the Itachi Daylight novel, which is, in order for him to reach his goal, he's got to become an important person to the village. He's got to become acknowledged and accepted. Then in this instance with Boruto, opposed to where Itachi wanted to become the Hokage, Boruto wants to be that person from the shadows. So this is where he's got to prove himself and work his way through. And one thing he's got to learn is something that Sasuke deals with. Those of you who read the Shikamaru Shinen novel know exactly what I'm referring to, but Sasuke still has to put up with shit that Sasuke finds annoying. And there was a moment in that novel where Sasuke's looking at this mess that's going on with the 5 Kage. He's looking at the mess that's going on that Shikamaru had to get involved with, and my dude was legit looking there, and the way that everything is written, the way it it was implied. I bet Sasuke was looking at it saying, this shit could have gone so differently if I would have killed Naruto. So I mean, this right here, I like the fact that Boruto's getting a taste of that. Not every person you guard is going to be someone you get along with. Not every mission that you take is going to be a tolerable one. So I like that Boruto's learning that lesson right here. I know a lot of people want to write this arc off, but what I will say is that this arc, obviously for the karma seal, obviously for the inclusion of Car at the end of it, but this arc is important when it comes to the growth and maturation process of Boruto Uzumaki. So my episode question to you guys is going to be, what are your thoughts about Tento? What are your thoughts? Do you think the anime overdid it with him being this spoiled rich brat? How do you feel about that? And the other question I have is, how do you feel about Sarada's sexuality being toned down? How do you think they're gonna handle the Boruto and Sarada moment that we get later on in this arc? Do you think Sarada's sexuality is gonna be toned down in that scene as well? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching on to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.